Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I'm so glad you're here. Today's date is Friday, September 9th, 2022. You heard me say that once earlier, but I promise to be back with a second read of another topic that's a little more global than the one I did for Alaska. Well, take a minute and picture some major leaders that we've had on the political scene in the last decade. Think of someone that the mainstream news vilifies. Think of someone that the mainstream news would like everybody to believe is a nutcase. Think of someone that the mainstream news would like everybody to think only has a small fringe following. You think I'm talking about the United States, don't you? No. The same thing is happening in Brazil. President Jair Bolsonaro is beloved by the vast majority of the people that he serves as their president. But the mainstream news there and around the world would have you think otherwise. I say that because on the 7th of this month, September 7th, just a couple of days ago, Brazil celebrated their Independence Day. And their president encouraged them to take to the streets and share their love of their independence and their liberty with the world. And let's look at first a mainstream and then a not so mainstream item about it. The mainstream, coming right up. Okay, so according to CNN, they did have a picture that showed some large crowds around the beach and what have you. They kind of downplayed it, okay, and had to make a point that there were tanks rolled out for Independence Day. Well, we've had military parades all over the world. Different countries do that too. There's a ceremonial thing. Now, on another one, another site, which you can see here, they had a more close up, and this one gave me goosebumps because that particular gentleman, President Bolsonaro, led and joined hundreds of thousands of people in reciting the Lord's Prayer together. Not exactly the action someone would take who's attempting to be a dictator. Not the following when we've seen leaders that we're told are popular, got 81 million votes and can't even fill a high school auditorium with willing spectators. You get hundreds of thousands of people in the streets doing something like that, and talk about the positive energy that had to flow from that. It had to be amazing. So I want to ask the cards tonight about this president in Brazil. He is friends with Mr. T. He reminds me of uh, the president of Hungary too, both all right wing, strong, but undeniably fair when you actually look at policies and things that roll out. Let's see if that's bolstered by the cards. So I'm going to ask the universe what they want us to know about President Bolsonaro, who is apparently quite beloved. And but let's see what the cards have to say. Is he truly that beloved? And is there other information the universe wants us to know about the current president of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro? Okay, our first card is the Star. Second card, Queen of Cups. Third card, Two of Swords. Five of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles. King of Cups. Ten of Swords. Well, President Bolsonaro is indicated by the star card, which is the major arcana card that I have for myself. Now, this is a good energy card, very good, and it usually indicates after some chaos and struggle, the clarity that one comes to and the wisdom from learning from mistakes and just traveling that life path a little bit. Now, so this is what's indicated here is that kind of sums up his basic personality. The Queen of Cups, cups are our emotions. So I'm seeing a lot of cups here. So definitely a passionate person, passionate in his beliefs, probably passionate in his personal life as well, and passionate about the people of Brazil. The Queen has an intelligence element to that passion. So this is good to kind of balance that. He comes with some wisdom to the table, learning from experiences. He's got some emotional intelligence going on here. So he is much more stable and much more grounded emotionally and intellectually than the mainstream would have people believe. In the recent past, we have the Two of Swords. Now, that is a card that involves some choices and waiting, and it's willing. So he has been faced with some choices and willingly faced them. And let's see what happens moving ahead here. In the present, it does look like he's had some difficulties. Now, again, willing. This card is always about people that willingly are putting up with some temporary difficulties, as he does with the mainstream media and their reporting and trying to paint him in one type of light. So they deliberately do that. They deliberately put up with it, not happily, but willingly. And again, we've got some willing waiting, some willing putting up with difficulties. And the reason why is he's a skilled statesman. Pentacles are an earth sign. He believes in his country. He wants to do good work for his country. He wants good things for Brazil. Now, clarifying that, we have the King of Cups. King of Cups can be he's very in charge of his emotions, which is kind of good to see because we got Cups cards going on. But the King of Cups has mastered that, not getting triggered, not being manipulated. And so that shows up as his. The King of Cups, for me, is less tricky than the Page of Cups, who can be, when I see that, I know that there's falsehoods going on. For me, the King of Cups, he can be almost emotionally detached, but he's not tricky, not as much as the other cards are. So he's capable of he can do some counter moves if he was to choose to. Okay, he can do it. He can make hard decisions with some detachment, and leaders have to do that. We have the Ten of Swords showing up as a secondary, less important clarification here. This talks about moving on from difficulties. I'm going to see if there's other indications from it, but when you have this one, this is an ending card. Tens are endings, and then the Ten of Swords especially are. So swords are words, both written and spoken. And so we're looking at an end to some written and spoken words. Let's see if we can get a little more clarification on that, because I found that a little confusing. Okay, we've got the Lover's card showing up. Ten of Cups. Okay, so what's going to happen here, what I'm getting from that now, is that, remember, swords are words written and spoken. There's going to be some reversal in the public perception that is the mainstream puts out about this gentleman. Okay, now he needs to be careful because they're not going to have perfect intent on that. I think he's a pro at that. He knows how the mainstream can turn on a dime and seem like they want an honest comment and then take a clip out of context and run with it. Ultimately, he's going to be doing fine. This is a celebration in moderation is how I think of that. Sometimes when it refers to deep state, it can be other things, but since we're not getting any kind of deep state indication here, but just simply a leader that loves his country, wants the best for his country, and is willing to put up with a lot to be that leader. I'm saying that he's going to have some relief from the mainstream narratives and enjoy it thoroughly when he does. But when he does, he's going to know that to be careful because they aren't always what they seem or reporting what they claim and what have you. So if he hasn't yet perfected the sound bite, I'd be very surprised. It doesn't take long in politics and dealing with mainstream to realize how quickly they can turn a yes into a no and a positive into a negative. He's seen that time and again. So, people of Brazil, I think you're fortunate to have the leader you do. I think that the mainstream narrative of him is false. And I think he's much more beloved, just like some other global figures are, than the mainstream would ever want us to know about. So, the things that you're doing, President Bolsonaro, that are good, keep them up. I loved hearing that you led that Lord's Prayer and sent that great energy out into the world. And I think that was a great example to set on how to give thanks for and celebrate your independence. So that's it for this video. 2 in 1 day, 2 for. I wish you love and light. The weekend is starting. Enjoy yours. I'll be back at some point during it, but maybe not both days. We'll see. Just depends. There's a lot going on. And my daughter has been very, very understanding that I need a little time to pursue this, even while I'm here. So while she and Otis are doing their thing, work and preschool, I get a little time with you, and I do appreciate it. Thank you for that time, and be well, and I send you love and light.